Tonga. 3 straight weekends of Test rugby for the men in white, culminating in their first meeting with South Africa since their encounter in the World Cup final 2 years ago. That promises to be one of the highlights of this fascinating month of Test match rugby. Before that, though, North versus South offers the opportunity for one of the game's most physical outfits to test their mettle at one of rugby's most revered venues. Well, the weather is pretty decent in the English capital. We've got an autumn breeze. It's a little bracing in exposed areas, but not down there on the stadium floor. It's dry and, of course, a perfect playing surface here at Twickenham. 12 degrees, 30-mile-an-hour wind. They won't feel that down there, though. Well, this is just the 4th time that England and Tonga have met, and the first time away from a Rugby World Cup. 1999, 2007, and then 2 years ago in Japan. They were the previous occasions. England significantly winning all 3. Well, the first of those 3 tests was in England, when Twickenham was among the host venues for the Rugby World Cup. That actually was Jeremy Guscott's last game in Test match rugby, remember him. And it was also the largest winning margin for England. They won by 101 points to 10. Well, we've got rather used to the risks and the impact of COVID-19 on sport and life beyond it over the past 20 months or so. But given the last 48 hours where this Test match is concerned, and particularly the England squad, I think we should be grateful to the organisers and both teams that we actually have a Test match to watch. And I suppose you can say whatever you like about the challenges faced by the so-called Tier 1 rugby nations during the pandemic period, but when you compare, even so, they're a team hardened by the experience of living their lives halfway around the world and playing in the world's toughest leagues, including those 2 guys there we saw, Ben Tameifuna and Tani Takalua, the scrum half, both who play week in, week out in the French top 14. And I can assure you, it's not to confuse you, but Tonga will be wearing white today. Meanwhile, England will be wearing red. Well, it would be an understatement to say that England's week hasn't gone entirely to plan. First injury to Marcus Smith, that forced Eddie Jones to move to plan B. Then yesterday, the bombshell of his captain Owen Farrell and a positive COVID test sent the England coach in search of a plan C. It has been an examination before a test like no other. Former England captain Chris Robshaw looking on, and there you can see the England replacements. Eddie Jones has rejuvenated his coaching staff in recent weeks. He's got a new leadership group within the squad, and by accident rather than design, today he's got a new captain. Jamie George, who wasn't even in the squad a couple of weeks ago. He came in following the injury to Luke Cowan-Dickey. Well, rugby, all about national pride and uncompromising physicality once the first whistle is blown. But there's one aspect in which all sides stand together, and that is the stance. Rugby is taking against racism. The anthems starting with Tonga. Well, if England do need reminding of rugby's significance in Tonga, then here it comes, the sippy towel. It does contain one or two pithy lines for those wearing red today, such as to the halfbacks and backs, gone has my humanness. That is quite a message for Courtney Lawes and his mates to chew over. Well, what a week it's been for Eddie Jones. The pack, at least, is the one he's been preparing all week. 6 of them started the World Cup final 2 years ago, including Tom Curry and Courtney Lawes, who leads England for the first time. The back line, well, that's a different story. Because of a leg injury, Marcus Smith didn't train properly until yesterday. That's why Owen Farrell was picked to start at fly half. Then he tested positive for COVID. So it's George Furbank who now wears 10. It's a vastly different Tonga to the squad swept aside by Scotland a week ago. 9 changes to the starting 15. Those who joined the tour this week include the former Wallaby, Lupeti Timoni. Aposipa Tamopio comes into the midfield, having scored a hat-trick of tries for his French club last weekend. Toulousa Vianu, once of Leicester and now playing for Stade Francais in Paris, is at fullback. Well, on the bench, scrum half Alex Mitchell and now Mark Atkinson are poised to make their England debuts from the replacements bench. Predictably, Tonga have some powerful reinforcements backing up their physical starters. Well, Dowie, it's been a rare old last 24 hours. How do you think it will have disrupted England?
It's not ideal, but Eddie Jones prides himself on the fine detail, doesn't he? So a scenario like this will have been planned. It's just like a normal injury, I suppose, in training. Leave it until the last workable moment before making the call. The question is, has Eddie Jones made that right call? Because this is the warm-up really for 2 massive pyrotechnical games over the next fortnight. Australia and World Cup champion South Africa in town. Eddie Jones needs a good performance today in order to prepare for those 2 massive games.
Well, the referee is Craig Evans. He made his debut, and certainly in terms of Tier 1 refereeing here in England's last Test match against Canada in July. He's back again now. The television match official, also from Wales, Ben Whitehouse.
Okay. Behind. Time on.
So we're all set to go. A full house is back at Twickenham for the first time in 20 months. And getting his hands on the ball almost immediately there, if briefly, the captain for the day, Courtney Laws. Oh, Vianu went for that,
Stay.
but didn't get it. There's Jamie George. Furbank, a touch and a kick. Perhaps a little bit too deep with his first touch, but it was Kurt Morath who took it. There is Vianu. Vianu playing for Tonga for the first time since the World Cup in Japan. There's Tani Tokalua.
Right.
There's one of the big fellas, Ziggy Fitsihoy, who plays his club rugby down in the southwest of France for Pau.
White goal hold. 6.
And Morath gets it away, but under pressure.
Bit scratchy there from Morath. I'm amazed actually he's fit enough to play, because he came off against Scotland holding his shoulder. He took a real big bang, but they make him hard in Tonga, that's for sure. He'll have to be at his best today. England using the aerial route. Johnny May superb on that left-hand side, winning the ball back, and then Furbank putting this ball up.
Wait for the arms, lads.
Probably a little bit too long, but actually it works out for England, because England are able to put some pressure on as Tonga try to break out from deep.
The catch there from Maro Itoje.
That's 1. 9 stay back. 9 back. 9
It is
back.
with George. You can hear there the referee just telling Ben Youngs to get back.
2, use it.
Youngs. Well, that was Slade topping it up there to Tuolangi. Here's Youngs again. Furbank. Adam Radwan with a touch. The floated pass out to May. May steps inside through one tackle. England immediately onto the front foot. Here's Ellis Genge. Held up 5 metres out. The first real test of this Tongan defence. There's Kyle Sinclair. That's Underhill. Underhill, who impressed in those 2 test matches in July. Penalty advantage being played. There's Furbank. Freddie Stewart, another of the newcomers in the recent months. Here's Radwan, and Radwan's got it down. For less than 3 minutes on the clock, Adam Radwan, a hat-trick of tries against Canada in July on debut. It looks rather like he's got a 4th here.
And he's doing it. Interesting there. Craig Evans just asked his touch judge, did he ground that ball? And Radwan, known for his incredible pace. He's probably one of the quickest wingers in world rugby. That's to dot it down. It's interesting. First up, Slade steps in as that first receiver there. Furbank is at the back this time. And it's just a procession really that playing to an advantage. That's him when he's using his wheels on the wide outside. Wingers combining superbly. Johnny May coming back inside to get some support. Young's fizzing the ball out, and really you can see Marath that he is carrying an injury, I know it. And this is the story of last week when Tonga, renowned for their incredibly physical tackling, fell off far too many tackles and allowed Scotland to gain yard after yard, and they've done exactly the same.
There have been plenty of players up and down the league in England who've been saying just how fast this man is. That was more about body position and showing a fair degree of wit to get that down from Adam Radwan. So Henry Slade on kicking duties.
Well, he started, didn't he, Slade? Under 20s, he was fly half, and he's moved to 12, moved to 13, so he can seamlessly go in there. So that's what England have done with George Ford, and when Farrell's playing, the interlink and change over, first receiver, second receiver, and you'll see that today with Furbank and Slade, I'm sure.
Yes, Henry Slade won the World Under-20 title 8 years ago in what was Jack Clifford's squad, a senior international whose professional career was cut cruelly short. Penalty there against Liver Fafita.
He's come in from the side, the maul was formed. You can actually go right round the side if it's not formed and come in from the back door, but once it's formed you've got to go in through your gate. He hasn't done that, and he's just given again an easy out for England. Jamie George, normally very good darts, precision, and this is where it all starts for England now. Good line out, good scrum, and give it the backs.
Yes, the two Saracens linking there with Maro Itoje in the line out. Ellis Genge with the direct running. There's Furbank just accidentally running into a teammate. We saw Ellis Genge carry. He's the only actual player in this England 23 today who captains his club.
Genge, yeah, well, he's been made one of the vice-captains, hasn't he? Scotland have two, so Eddie Jones makes three. That's Kerry. Courtney Laws would have been one of those joint ones, but Farrell's out, so he's the main captain. And Furbank just getting caught up a little bit. Again, not used to playing 10, not used to being that front line. He's a fullback by trade, a very good one. But again, it's all experience. We saw Kinghorn, for Scotland, normally a winger, last week playing admirably at 10. His restarts were sensational. Very quick, good pair of hands. So again, everything's building to the next World Cup.
Well, I think we can work on the basis that George Furbank has spent a bit of time this week operating at 10. Marcus Smith on the bench because Eddie Jones made the decision very early in the week that he wouldn't be able to start. Not necessarily because of lack of fitness, but because of the lack of preparation. Marcus Smith didn't train properly until yesterday's captain's run, which I guess because we talk about captain's run, it's the last training session. And you can imagine that because he'd been named on the bench, he only played a fairly peripheral role in that training session yesterday. Furbank would have started the week thinking that maybe, just maybe, he might get a run sometime today. But he didn't think it'd have started though at 10. Carry forward there from Walter Fafita, stands well over 6 feet tall. One of the tallest men on the pitch.
He made a dent really in the Scotland side. He carried for about 72 metres just on 4 carries, so he was their go-to man. He's on the right wing this time. He played left wing last week. Again, he is their go-to, he's their go-forward person.
Takalua just feeding it, and then there's the spill forward. That coming from Tola Ongawamo. There he is, the Castra hooker.
Time off.
Yeah, again, it's not great. You've almost got to be 100% against England. It's going to be a hard afternoon anyway. You know that because of the quality of the... I was going to say preparation. It's been disjointed a little bit for England, but still the pack is the pack. And they are going to be formidable for anybody. Again, there's bigger fish to fry over the next fortnight, as I said, Australia. And they've really honed their skills and made sure they have got a big pack of forwards and they don't go back anymore. And then the world champions, who knows what sort of side turns up, but they're proud. They'll be robust, and 2 massive tests for that man.
Eddie Jones always in the spotlight. Not just in the spotlight, but under the microscope in recent weeks.
Well, that's what he likes to be, isn't it? He's the man that calls the shots, never wrong as far as he's concerned, and I suppose if that's the way to go, good on him. But those that haven't read the Owen Slot piece in the Times, I think it was last Friday, get a copy. Very interesting.
Yes, Eddie Jones on to what is essentially his 3rd different management team since he took the job.
Bind. Set.
Certainly England's attacking potency here will be under scrutiny. Well, that's interesting, because one thing Eddie Jones was saying during the week was this new Tonga front row, well, it's as good as anything in Europe. All 3 ply their trade in the French top 14.
The referee there saying that England just didn't engage. They sort of pulled back, obviously trying to buy a penalty. They don't really need to do that. They're trying to be a bit cute. That's what the ref is saying. They've actually gone back. Well, it's difficult from that position, but he's there right on the spot. Tonga love that. They've given themselves now a chance. They're just nearly up to the England 22.
Straight over the top. Well, it was Tamopio who rescued that for Tonga. Here's Hingano. Hingano presents it. It's all a bit untidy. That's Timony, the former Wallaby. There's Tokalua. Taken forward by Fafita. Here's Tamafuna. Tamafuna, 100 kilos and many more, and look at that. Oh dear. Sione Velanu, all he could do was find Manatualangi. But that was concerning for England. Back goes Kurt Morath. Costly for Tonga, but Dowie, a suggestion there of the problems that they can cause England.
Well, they can. Again, if England don't get their guards there, Johnny Hill misses his man totally. He's not looking, he's not down in his haunches. He's expecting Tonga to go out the back and pass the ball wide. And if it wasn't for Manatualangi, that could have been a possible try.
Here's Henry Slade.
Wow.
Well, that was a huge hit on Curry. But then Tonga are penalised.
Sorry.
It's Velano there. He actually, as he makes the hit, you've got to release the tackle man and go back down on him. You can't stay on him. But Tom Curry is one of the hardest dudes around in the back row, playing with the 8 on his back. I prefer him with a 7. That's interesting. Slade's what he's turned the 3 points down. They don't want to go for penalties, they want tries. But again, he was stopped in his tracks by Tonga.
Well, there was a bit of a smile there from Tom Curry. I don't know how much it was through gritted teeth. I got a sense that it was a bit like that heavyweight whose pants have hit the canvas. Oh, look at that. Sione Velanu won half of that double hit. That was Worcester on sale, wasn't it?
They breed him tough in Tonga, they breed him tough up north.
So Jamie George.
Here we go.
Finds Johnny Hill. George has got it tucked underneath his arm. He among the England players here with a point to prove. Youngs. There's the dart. Back to Tuolangi. Youngs. Genge.
Advantage. High tackle.
A high tackle there from Tonga, so there's a penalty advantage. Carl Sinclair wanted it a little bit quicker. There goes Curry. On to Youngs. Itoje. Well, it's a second penalty. And 1 or 2 question marks about the tackle techniques here, Dowie.
Say again, Martin, sorry.
1 or 2 question marks about the tackle techniques.
Yeah, there was noise here. It's nice with crowds, but it's a bit loud at the moment. What has happened there in that situation, they were at a free play because a high hit. But we did see a couple last week, well, I did in Murrayfield, they were penalised just with a penalty. And no yellow card. There wasn't a yellow card in that situation, but there is an inconsistency still with the high tackle. Tonga, obviously, over the years have been known for it. The Polynesians, very physical, but again, with the concussion and everything we've experienced, it is right to lower that level, but sometimes you see it creeping up. Now, England failed with the 5-man on the other side. Can they redirect themselves and get over the line now?
The same Saracens combo there with George to Itoje. Here is Jamie George, who scored a try when these two met at the World Cup in Sapporo 2 years ago. He's after another, is George, and there he is, and he's got it.
Well, that's what you need. Again, it's almost unstoppable once you set it up. If you get it absolutely correct, body's in the right position, the only way the defence can do it is to infringe, give a penalty away, but then you risk going down to 14. You can see that it's at the back. Youngs goes in, is a little bit of a dummy, then it bursts. You're just waiting for a weakness to happen. They're through the gap. Jamie George one-on-one. You're not stopping him from there. Radwan gets one in that corner. Georges gets the second. And again, England up to 10 after 13 minutes. He did all the pushing. No, he didn't. But again, it's a serious position. Neil Back used to do it more times than not for Leicester Tigers and England, sitting at the back, steering the ship. So the guys in front use the power, but again, it's a hard job just to know when to break, when to actually put your foot down and when to get over that line.
So a second chance for Henry Slade from a very similar spot. Well, that was a rather better strike, but this time just going past the other upright. 10 points to 0.
A happy hooker, happy bench. Dumbrandt, and hopefully we'll see him sometime today. I'm disappointed he didn't actually start. It's the type of game that he would thrive in. But we will see. Tonga now 2 tries down already, 14 minutes. Can they surprise England and get on the scoreboard?
Use it!
Bianu. Up and running, the former Leicester Tiger, Takalua.
Back you.
On to Ngo'omo.
Yeah. Okay, advantage.
It's a penalty advantage being played here to Tonga. That's Tamefuna. Takalua back to Maraf.
Six stop.
There's a tester for Freddie Stewart. No advantage, so we come back for the penalty. England that come offside.
No, it's on the 15. On the 15.
Yeah, England again. Sorry, Tonga, we're playing a free play there.
Offside.
And you're not going to win many balls in the air against Freddie Stewart, given that much time. He was overkicked, but Marath knew that. Takalua is going for posts. He wants to get on the scoreboard. I suppose it's the right decision, really. Take some fizz out of the game. And it looks like he's going to be taking the kick as well.
The last time Tonga beat a so-called Tier 1 nation was when they beat Italy at this time of year, and it was a very late penalty from Tani Takalua that settled it. Granduri, who's taking charge of Tonga on this tour. No Totai Kefu, the World Cup winner 22 years ago with Australia. Kefu, the victim in a shocking incident back at home in Brisbane in August, which left not only Kefu but his wife Rachel and 2 of his children in hospital when they were savagely attacked by intruders. So Takalua, a method all of his own, and it's a bit of a snap hook. There goes Freddie Stewart.
Hold.
Stewart's got a huge boot on him. Back here to Peter. Been out there from Fisi Ihoi.
Use it, 9. Not silly.
Lua being urged to use it by the referee. Stewart underneath it.
Good call, Craig.
There was some
Red, change direction on the kick,
obstruction.
You see that time and time again, didn't you? And it really infuriates me. Tom Curry trying to be clever and cute. You're not clever and cute, you just give a penalty. Well, just keep your eye on number 8. He just gets in front of the guy. It actually wasn't too bad, but the referees are looking out for it. They tell teams before, don't do it. He's protecting his jumper, Stewart. Well, you don't have to protect him because that guy doesn't drop him. And now he's just given Tonga another in, I would think. The scrum half and captain will go for another kick.
He's a determined fella, is Taddy Takalua. And there's a big one, Walter Fafita, who's just joined Glasgow.
Well, James Fieva is the kicker last week. He got 3 out of 3. Only points Tonga scored with the boot, but he's on the bench, so that's why the scrum half and captain is taking over the kicking duties. Well, he's missed one from the other side. See if he can get this. And that guy is a beast, like he said. He's a big ball carrier, and that's what Tonga need. They need to get behind England to turn England.
Takalua has always come at it from almost right angles. That's rather better. Well, it doesn't matter how you do it. It's the end result which counts. And Tonga are on the scoreboard. England leading by 10 points to 3. We're almost through the opening quarter.
Now, from a Tonga point of view, they need to get a good exit. Like you said, they slowed the game up with those 2 penalties. One they got, one they missed. They'll get England desperate to get their hands on the ball. That'll be too far.
It's Velanu. There's a good chase from England.
Use it.
There's Takalua. Offloading to Ngoamu. Look at Itoji is through along with Johnny Hill.
They can place it. Now use.
Such an important part of the modern game, the exit as they call it. Takalua not looking for touch, just finding Freddie Stewart. Oh, and then there was the quick offload to Underhill, but the ball just spilt forward.
He diffuses those bombs, doesn't he? Big, strapping lad, tall, gets up in the air. Look at that. Perfectly allowed to use his knee like that, no problem at all. Drives up. Doesn't take his eyes off the ball and tries a little bit of a cute pass back inside, and on another day Underhill takes that and he's away.
Eddie Jones likened Freddie Stewart early this week to his goalkeeper. He said you don't get many goalkeepers who are shorter than 6 feet. Freddie Stewart 6'5" in the old money, almost 2 meters tall.
But it is a massive point of the modern game, is the kick pass or whatever, whether it's from side to side. Obviously that's in a defensive role, he's brilliant, but also he could be turn up on the left wing, right wing, fly half, then crisscrossing the ball over to him.
Good carry from Velanu. On there to Murat, long pass off the right hand, finding Bianu. Powering his way through the tackle there, or the attempted tackle from Henry Slade. Well, there's some crunching hits out there. That time it was Fafita who felt it. But they've come to play. That was a touch for Carter. There's Takalua. Velanu, little poke through. Stewart comes across it, set up nicely for the fullback. He returns it with a fair amount of interest. Certainly more interest than you get at the banks these days.
Yeah, you think England were cute then, they've won the sort of kicking game. Murat reckons that Stewart went through on him. There's some physical hits out there. Samopia is good, initially from the number 8.
That's Yoni Velanu,
yeah. Velanu, and that's, he's brushing 2 halfbacks out there. Aside really needed your bigger guys, your Tuolangi come in there. That's brushed Slade off, who's normally an outstanding tackler. A bit of ballet going on. England knew it was going to be physical, and it certainly is.
Slade popping it up there to Tom Curry. And there from Courtney Laws. Furbank getting through the tackle. He's a real athlete, is George Furbank. He's running around the defence, and in the end it's Tomopio who takes him down. Look, perhaps a little bit high. On there to Itoje. On from Furbank again. Here's the captain.
Tackle on England, 10 by 12.
There is an advantage coming, and it is for the high tackle from Tomopio on George Furbank.
Well, he's got some wheels, we knew that. Again, that's a fantastic advantage. A fantastic advantage for a 10.
Just slips up.
That's what he's got over most people. Farrell isn't as quick as that, George Ford isn't as quick as that, and you can just see Tomopio there's the little show and go, goes through between two big Tongan forwards who clash heads almost, and he's looking for support. He hasn't got it, so he's pinned his ears back. Tomopio, like I said, just snags him down. The referee didn't want another look at it, but he did go high, but he probably falling into the tackle, because basically referees start at red, and if there's any mitigation circumstances, it takes it down from there. But keep the game fluid, get into the corner, England. And I would think, after George's first try, he'll want a second.
But it's often the wings who get compared to sprinters. I once saw George Furbank do a session at Franklin's Gardens at Northampton, and he really did look like a proper sprinter. Well, that didn't work for England, and they've conceded a penalty.
Behind the jumper, obstruction.
Obstruction in the lineup.
I think it's Johnny Hill going in front of Maro Itoje there. That's what happens, is you're not allowed to do that. So many teams do it, so many referees allow it to go on, so many referees then pick it up. But again, it's another inconsistency. Big jumper up in the air, and his second row partner gets in front of him and the opposition, so it enables then the ball to come back. Just have a look at Johnny Hill. Well, actually, it isn't Johnny Hill, it's the two guys in front of him. He did say number 5. Number 5 was in at the sides. It's Sinclair, one of the lifters. So as Maro Itoje goes down, the two lifting props then just sort of slide in front of him, which, again, you're not allowed to do. But he did. The referee did shout number 5.
Inside the 5,
finds for Peter.
Stay where you are. Stay where you are. No, that's once. White, that's once. Use.
There it is for Takalua. Taken back into the 22, so he didn't have the option of going directly to touch. Here's Radwan. On to Stewart. Good follow-up tackle from Timoney.
First man.
Turnover.
Well, that's fantastic stuff from Tonga. That was Tomopio. There's the halfway line.
He's made a bit of an impact, isn't he, Tomopio? I've got to say.
Rath Hoyset. Another tester for Radwan, taken well. There's Ben Youngs into position, onto Furbank. Well, you have to say, George Furbank's had a very decent start at 10.
He has, but again, if I was coaching this side, or the captain, I wouldn't want my 10 taking the ball into physical contact. He can do it, he's a strong lad, he loves it, obviously, but hey, you've got 10 on your back. You are the conductor, you are the baton whaler. Get back in where he should be. Let some of the dogs of hell do that for you. He's got away with it and won a penalty, but I mean, Johnny Wilkinson used to be the same on times. If something went wrong, he'd go hiding, not so much hiding on the pitch. He'd just love to get involved in to get his game back up to speed in the forwards. So there is a place for it, but I think England at the moment just 10-3 up. Just need to, orchestrate things a little bit better.
Youngs on there too. Henry Slade, and Slade gets through the defence, but the offload didn't work, and Tuolangi spilt it forward. Tameifuna with the fast hands.
Use.
It's for Vita again.
Tackle red.
Takalua just marshalling his supporters. Ball being presented there by Pepatulu.
Use!
He's going to have to box now, advantage is over.
Chance here perhaps for Radwan to have a run. Instead, feeds it to Slade. Slade with a long kick. It had a huge amount of space, but the ball set up, and here's Leanu. Did he spill it forward? The referee says not. More space here for Radwan. On to Stewart. Stewart finds a bit of a gap. Tonga missing too many first-time tackles at the moment. There's Curry. Quick hands from Furbank. That was outstanding. Here goes Tuolangi. On there from Youngs. On to Itoje. England find the danger zone again. Furbank. Here's Slade. Chance, oh, I say, and on there from Stewart. And here's Johnny May. And there aren't many better finishers in world rugby than that man.
Had to come. England had acres of space out wide on the left. And loads of men. And that guy didn't need a second invitation. Tonga are just sliding off too many tackles, as you said, Martin. They're up to 9 missed tackles. Something you don't associate with this side, but when again the game is played a little bit more tempo, they seem to just fall off. And I suppose Tuolangi loves to bounce people off. 1, 2, just sets it up. Furbank again, that's what he's there for. Takes a big hit, but again he puts Tuolangi away. It's those quick hands, get round the edge of Tonga. That's what England are trying to do, and that's the way you do it. Get that ball straight through your hands, out to a big ball carrier, and look at him. All those guys in red, comes out the back. You got Stewart just holding time, and May still had to finish, but again, Tonga just run out of numbers, run out of pace. And there's a little bit of a May swan dive.
All good with the try, Craig.
Well, we thought for a while it was another England wing who had a patent on that, a certain Chris Ashton.
Yeah, he's fallen out of favour at Worcester, isn't he? Reading something.
Correct, Craig,
Whether he's
that, yeah.
going to play again, I don't know. We will find out in due course. Johnny May doesn't matter. England with 54% possession at the moment to Tonga 46, and they're making it count really every time they go in the kill zone, the 22, the red zone, whatever you want to call it. They come away with points, tries. Only one thing they haven't had is a conversion or a penalty.
Test try number 34 for Johnny May, and that one does sneak inside the upright. Yeah, he's got to find another 15 before he catches up with Rory Underwood. I think most people would say that old Rory was the greatest wing we've ever had in England. Johnny May, certainly a star of the modern game.
Who only ever drunk Coca-Cola. You never see Rory with a pint in his hand. That's why he scored so many tries.
Yes.
And he was a pilot, obviously, as well.
I think he was a navigator.
No, was he a navigator?
His brother was the pilot.
That's right, well, Tony was, yes.
Okay.
He was with the RAF, put it like that. He was in the services, in the forces.
Yes, I think Tony was in the front seat, right up front, and Rory was tucked in behind. It was perhaps the only way he was ever behind his brother, I think. Both fine England internationals. There you can see the former Fiji coach. That's John McKee.
Richie Rees in there. So, sorry, Martin to the right of Grant Dorey. As well, scrum half, assisting what they can do. I think England allowed them, let them have a couple of analysts, didn't they, well, this week as well to help.
Yes, it is worth making the point that the Tonga squad only had 3 training sessions ahead of the game last week, and it was essentially going back to scratch this week with so many players arriving, particularly from France. Well, that's a super catch, and The referee deciding there that...
I'm just having a look at it, Craig.
Okay, boys, time off. Time off.
Well...
Just take it, Yeah, look, let's take it.
Johnny May
May
brushed away the assistants. He says he's all right. He reckon he might have caught his back a bit.
Craig, do you want to have a look at this?
Yeah, let's follow.
There's two guys going for the ball,
seconds,
and then the Tongan.
Okay, Timo, have a look at the screen. Are you on?
Just tell
Carter.
me when you are by the screen, Craig, and I will
See, again,
get them to tee them up.
it's a difficult one. If he falls just on his back, his head's hit the floor.
This is at 22 now. You're clear there with the screen. Ready when you are.
It's probably a yellow. We will have to see. We'll let the referee and the TMO sort out. The referee, obviously Craig Evans, TMO Ben Whitehouse. Made a commitment to the ball, but you've got to have due diligence, you've got to have care of attention. I don't know where we are with this rule at the moment. Is that dangerous because he's gone in?
Jump to compete for the ball. He's not in a realistic position to take the ball. He's been beaten to possession by the English player. He's taken him out in the air. He's landed on his side. Yellow card.
Totally agree with you, Craig.
There you go.
And then that's going to be 5 metres from touch, I believe, yes?
The mark is, I'll get it for you now.
Thank you.
Well, Tonga are going to be down to 14 men very shortly.
The mark is on the
Solomon
6 metres
Carter
out from touch in between the
going
half
into the sin
and
bin.
the 10.
Number 11, please.
You're shaking your head, Martin.
He jumped. You're not in a position to take the ball. You're taking a man out in the air and he's landed on the side. It's going to be a yellow card. He hurt his arm before.
So, Solomon Carter.
6 metres out from touch, in between the half and the 10.
Perfect. Thank you,
Off he goes. Outstanding rugby league player. These days back in New Zealand. Just agreed to join Moana Pacifica, the new Super Rugby franchise based in Auckland.
22.
Yeah, I think Tonga, again, when this rule sort of first came in, that would have been a red. And I've tried to sort of bring it down a little bit.
Line is yours, lads.
You know, have a look at it because it is what was happening. So many people were getting sent off, and the imbalance happens. But again, you've got to have due care and attention. It was deemed that Tonga didn't have it on that occasion, so I think they'll be lucky. We're quite happy just to get away with a yellow.
There it is for Ben Youngs. The inside ball, and Ellis Genge brushes off the tacklers. The offload, and Atoji gets it down. England immediately take advantage of their numerical advantage.
Eddie Jones talked all week about going through the front door because these big Tongans were coming to town before they went through the back door. This time they just keep going crashing up through the front door. The missed tackle rate is going up all the time. That's up to 11 now, and this is simple, just a one-out cherry boy back inside. Genge takes it on superbly well. It's Courtney Laws that gives him initially the ball, and Atoje's there. There's that ball back inside. Again, just Tonga just sliding out, and there's no really need to slide out. Takes the contact. And Atoje, well, he could play in the back row, he could play anywhere he wanted, really. He's that good. It's over the line, and then about now drops it down.
No, I checked everything, Craig, all good.
Thank you, Ben.
The hand was on the shoulder for me.
Yeah, perfect, perfect.
Henry Slade makes it worth 7. Well, Eddie Jones was saying this week that this is what Ellis Genge does so well. There might be one or two things he can learn in the more fundamental role of a loose head prop from one or two of the opposition today in international terms. Maybe both he and Carl Sinclair have one or two things to learn about scrummaging, but give the ball to Ellis Genge, face him in the right direction. My word, what a quality player he is. There goes Tom Curry.
Well, what they do, again,
Off your seat, no white,
better than most is actually hit in and try and make that ball available for the supporting runner. On that occasion, Itoje was out there, scores a try. Keep the ball live.
Thank you.
George Furbank finds touch. Pretty much on halfway.
England doing a pretty good at softening up Tonga at the moment. Those 4 tries have all sort of come, apart from that one, was sort of 5 metres out in the set-piece situation, so they're just getting points on the board, and I think in the second half we might see the likes of Radman and Stewart really having a go at the wide outside.
Mopio there taking the contact. Scored a hat-trick last week for his club Perpignan in the top 14 when they beat La Rochelle. Took Perpignan off the foot of the table.
Fine, you got this feet.
Well, I think Garneau
You got your feet and then you crawled.
getting penalised. Furbank is off and running. Confidence is growing there for the fly half. There's Henry Slade. Good scything tackle from Bianu. Johnny Hill. England will look to build again. Tom Curry. Slade. Oh, and it's been poached. And away goes Bianu. Across comes Freddie Stewart. It's Leicester fullback against former Leicester fullback. And it's the old boy who wins it, but he can't get it down.
Oh, no. That would have been... Well, we will wait. I don't think he's got it down. If he had got it down, it would have been a fantastic poacher's try. Turn Stewart inside out. Courtney Laws, the captain, fantastic, getting back. This is it. It goes to if this goes through, this England score a try. He just reads it superbly. And watch this. He's going to step, and he's going to step. There he goes. Then he goes back the other way. And who's their captain? Saves the day. That is a try-saving tackle. Simple as. Simple as. That is brilliant. Hand right round the ball. Dislodges the ball. And the crowd are applauding. There you go. That's sensational. Anybody watching that, it does help, I think, if you're 6'6", to get your big levers around it. Pat on the shoulder, he needs more than that. Wow.
Well, Courtney Laws is the longest standing England international involved today. Made his debut here 12 years ago against Australia.
Okay, boys, no try. Knocked on at the touch.
And Talusa Bianu looks as if he's hurt the hip a bit, I think.
Time on. Knocked on at the touch. Scrum called.
Right, it's good to see he's up and running. Gets a bit of a slap there from his old mate Ben Youngs. Old teammates up at Welford Row when they played for Leicester together.
And it's not all about scoring tries, it's saving them sometimes, even in a comfortable game for England. You can see the desire there. A lot of experience in this. 334 caps coming in today for England, just 63 from Tonga. And now Ben Youngs does the simple things well. 3 minutes or so to go. Again, England will exit, possibly carry off the base, setting up a ruck platform, and then they'll go from there.
You're in flank, okay? Let's keep the gap and we rest. No wait. Don't let Connie look. Quick reset, lads. Quick reset. Adam.
This will be a little bit of a test for that England front row.
Crouch. Bind.
I would suggest it's a Kabul, I say, they get the free kick. It's Tamefuna who has been penalised. A combined front row weight, I'd suggest, of very close to 400 kilograms. Not far off. Certainly more than 350.
425 kilograms of absolute beauty. Because without them, we ain't got a game.
Let's go, lads. Crouch. Bind.
The last 90 seconds of an entertaining first 40.
Keep it up. Let's keep working up.
Well, power there from Tonga, but they're penalised.
3 across, call. Adam, call. 3.
Tamafuna running around with the ball there. England just wanting to buy a penalty. They had a free kick, so they've gone for the other scrum, gone for another scrum. They've won that. This goes direct in. A minute to go. They'll get the line out. Ooh, if they get it. No, they haven't.
So maybe an opportunity here for Viana to have another run. Curry.
First man on that. He should have come away with it.
Was immediately there.
Time off. Whoa,
I think it's Underhill who's got a problem.
He went to the pull and come away with it. He had to go twice. Release the ball.
I don't know whether it's his shoulder or he's holding his... I think it's his shoulder, yeah.
It might be worth another look. Let's see here. Tom Curry was the first man on the scene. Oh, he's taken a bit of a knock, hasn't he?
It's his neck, isn't it? It's just his head, side of his head. Rihanna's dancing, he's just, again, there's nothing in it. Tries to get hold of him, but the dancing feet of the fullback catches him out. I'm sure he'll be going off for a assessment.
That's that last scrum. He just slipped his spine and rolled across, yeah. Yeah, took him.
Yeah, maybe looks like the inside of the shoulder there, I think. There we can see the coaching staff for England. Eddie Jones, you can see him there at the back. Martin Gleeson with a beard. At the back in the middle, in front of him is Matt Proudfoot.
Okay, last time's going on, okay? Time on. Hold in.
So there Anthony Seibold, who's the new defence coach recruited from Australian Rugby League.
Okay, so this will be the last play. I'm sure Slade trying not to be too cute. That's about right, up to the 22.
Line is yours,
I think the forwards may fancy a little trundle first, trying to attract all the Tongan forwards close to them and then release the backs.
Sam Underhill appears okay, at least for the moment. I get a chance to assess him at half-time. Jamie George just considering the options. There's Ben Youngs, he's got Johnny May alongside him, but he doesn't need him. His 110th cap. And he gets a big smooch from his Leicester captain, Ellis Gench.
Too easy. Again, for a guy of that experience, you can see it happening. Tremendous line-out driven infield. Tonga was struggling, and Youngs with all the support on the outside didn't need it in the end. Just watch this now. Again, Tozier takes in, quick pump of the legs, infield all the time. At the back, the call will come now, straight away. Jamie George acting as a 9. You could say Ben Youngs acting as a winger, and with that much space, that much gas, that much knowledge and skill, too easy. Too easy. I think Ben Youngs just closing his eyes. You don't want to see that coming at him. Come on, it's a family show.
There's no doubt that England have taken full opportunity of that one-man advantage they've had since Soleimani Carter was shown the yellow card. The last action of the half, can Henry Slade take England into the 30s? No, he can't. So it is Half-time at Twickenham. Eddie Jones holding the impromptu meeting with the replacements. It has been a very satisfactory first 40 for England. Among the try scorers, that man, Jamie George. England leading Tonga by 29 points to 3.
Music worldwide, 75 countries, 3 million warranty.
Please welcome back our visitors, Tonga.
29 points to 3. England lead at half-time against Tonga. 5 tries, Dowie. England good value for that lead?
Yeah, I think they have. They haven't underestimated Tonga at all. They've gone to take the fizz out of them. Put some work in the tight. Radwan gets one for a couple of yards. Genge, May, Toje, Youngs. It's all been sort of forward dominated. That guy Underhill's had a good 40. He's off. He took a bang late on in that second half. So hopefully Dombrandt will come on. Curry will move to the side of the scrum, and Dombrandt will come at 8, and we'll see what he can do off this fantastic platform. I'm expecting England now to really up the ante, put the foot down on the accelerator, and as I said at the beginning of the piece, go for the throat.
So there you can see Sam Underhill has been replaced, and second guessing you, Dowie, I suspect you feel that this is the best back row balance for England anyway.
I just like, look, if someone's playing and ripping up trees in the Premiership, like this guy, he's got to be given a chance. It's that message that Eddie Jones sends out that, you know, on one hand he says, oh yeah, if you're playing well, we'll pick you. But on the other hand, you're playing well and he doesn't pick. And he's done that to so many people. He's got Eddie's way, and that's it. It's Eddie's way or the highway. So hopefully Dombrandt now scores a hat-trick and he's undroppable. I do like the guy. But the best thing about England, just carry on. Don't play risky rugby. Play the strategy, get down there. And he's done pretty well, you know, for a 15 really come 10.
Time on.
So George Furbank, they've had a very competent first 40
Backwards.
on his debut as a starting fly half for England.
Use it 9, please.
Tonga are back to the full 15. Sonamana Carter is back on. Ben Young's feeding the ball out there to his fly half. Here goes Henry Slade, and bursting through is Manitou Alangi, who steps his first man, crashes straight through, or at least tries to crash straight through his second. It was a good tackle actually from Moran. Here goes Fafita, he offloads it, and Higano is ushered into touch by Tuolangi. Manitou Alangi, 609 days since his most recent appearance.
Yeah, Craig, I have got to take it off the ball.
That was here against Wales when he was actually shown a red card, and I think
just grabs hold
there is something here, and it's against Tonga. It's a tackle off the ball. Let's see it here. I think we'll see it in a couple of moments. I'm sure you caught the glimpse of this, Dowie.
Yeah, but the one thing you can say that Alex Sanderson and the Sale guys have done a fantastic job on getting Tuolangi fit, Mana Tuolangi fit. He not only makes that break, he actually gets back to his feet.
15 metres from the try line and 10 metres from
just
the touch
listening
line.
Just listening in. There was a misdemeanor.
Tackle at the ball, 7.
7 white, yeah.
Yes, it was a tackle off the ball, and the guilty party is Matiaki Kapatolu.
So England, as they did in the first half, pump into the corner, catch and drive. I don't think we'll see any different. They like racking up the score.
George, well, I'm not sure that went quite as was intended, but Johnny Hill grabs it. Tonga doing what they can to keep the ball and player up in the air, and they will have the put in at the scrum.
Toji holds his hands up, or hand up. I think obviously that's just a breakdown in communication. Normally, like you said, the Saracens duo, George and Toji, work pretty well. So it's scrum time. Tonga put in. I think one thing in the first half was their discipline. England give away 5 penalties, Tonga 9. The clean breaks, England were 5-2, so they were denting in that midfield, especially missed tackles, something again you don't associate with Tonga. 6 to England, 15 to Tonga, and then obviously 5 tries to 0. So there is a story there. Make your tackles, and you don't concede tries.
Let's keep it up.
The pick up from Velanu. Takalua just getting sucked into the breakdown, so popped up by Tamafuna. England just getting a little bit too greedy.
Yeah, just press it, fell on the wrong side, Sinclair. Again, Tonga won't like that. Take the pace out of the game. Marath is carrying an injury at the 10. You can see they try to hide him in the defensive pack as he goes onto the wing, which some 10s do normally, but I think he was at fault for the Radwan score right at the beginning, just after 3 minutes.
They do have the option of James Faiva on the bench, who started at fullback last week against the Scots. Okay, that is Paula Angawamo, who spent most of the last decade playing First Division rugby in France.
White to ground, white to ground. 20 back, 20 back.
Pissy Hoy there just protecting the ball. And carry from Fafita.
He's done well there, because England's line speed again, as ever, is fantastic.
Huge hit there on Lepeti Timony. Timony actually making his Tongan debut today. Did play a dozen times for the Wallabies, including 2 appearances here in November internationals. Takalua on there to Marath. It's Visi Hoy just offloading to Tamopio. Marath just glides it through, but well read by Freddie Stewart. Stewart with a kick ahead, sends Marath going back. Stewart's getting after it.
Looks very comfortable, doesn't he, Stewart? Again, hasn't had too much to do. But his bread and butter is the high ball, and he takes them all day. I'd love to see him cut loose.
He's only 20 as well. That's Furbank. Carry from Genge. Slade on there to Furbank. May. Oh, and getting in there was Walter Fafita. And I fear there's a possibility here we might lose another Tongan for 10 minutes.
You were down in Cardiff last week, wasn't there? Was a Bowden Barrett doing similar?
A white 14.
Listen in.
Sticks out with one hand. Not in the position to catch the ball, but a deliberate knock on. Have you got a wider picture? Would it have been a line break? There's a line break opportunity. So the okay. So penalty's on the 5. The yellow against 11. Number 11, 14.
Andrea Piardi of Italy is the assistant referee. It is going to be another 10 minutes. So both wings now have been sent to the sin bin for Tonga.
So why didn't Bowden Barrett get a yellow card? Because it was his 100th cap.
Now, Kelly.
Just, I'm asking you were there.
That's the whiff of cynicism. Henry Slade.
I know a lot of people think if you deliberately go with one hand, it's an automatic yellow. It isn't an automatic yellow. It could be mitigating circumstances. But in that case, he had no chance of catching that ball.
Curry. There goes Slade. Tuolangi. Good tackle again from Kurt Morath. He's done more than his fair share in defence today for Tonga. Genge just bouncing off those white jerseys. Sinclair. England into the Tonga 22 again.
First man on his feet.
Oh, they've turned it over. Fantastic work, Tamai Funa.
Use it, White. Use it. It's there, lads. You're slowing your own ball now, White. You put it there, you get it out.
I don't know if you heard that with Craig Evans, but saying that Tonga were responsible for slowing down their own ball, and then was there a bit of a hand there from Maro Itoje? Oh, look at this from Carter. He's a very tricky customer. Takalua hoists it and then gets thumped by Kyle Sinclair. Stewart again imperious in the air. Here's Tomopio. There's the charge down from Slade. Well, we had at least one knock on there. It will be a Tonga scrum.
You put the player there, you get him out of there.
Jones looks on. Again, England are desperate just really to cut loose a little bit, but against Tonga, they're asking a few more questions of them. A couple of mistakes from both sides. But again, Stewart just commands those airways, doesn't he? Very easy. That's what the crowd have just seen, and the noise level has just gone up a bit.
Marcus Smith not starting today because he had no involvement in training this week, at least not until yesterday's captain's run.
Set, hold it up, keep it up, height.
Takalua with the put-in. Another good solid set piece there from Tonga.
Let's go, both down.
There's Carter again.
Break, go early.
Times are getting evened up a bit here. England just frustrated.
Tom Curry there, just a little bit too quickly out of the blocks.
And Tonga won't mind this. Eddie Jones will, because he doesn't like the Mexican wave apparently. It's just started above us. Here it comes. Something might spark with that lad. There'll be a lot to ask, man. He's been injured all week, so don't expect absolute fireworks. It's difficult coming on in this situation, but I think he is the future for England, or part of the future, as that guy is there, Maro.
Guamu tries to go to the tail, but Johnny Hill got his paw in there. And there goes Courtney Laws, who's enjoyed his first crack at captaincy.
Use it!
Terrific try-saving tackle on Talusa Beanu. Here's Don Brandt. Ball went forward though.
Just a knock on.
Ben Young's best box kick. He may like to throw at 10-15 metres more so he can run at it. Yeah, they're a little bit frustrated, aren't they? Been promising so much, but as yet, haven't added to those 5 tries in the first half. 10 minutes gone, half an hour to go.
It is perhaps worth putting into perspective that Tonga have yet to record a win this calendar year. Among the defeats, they conceded a century of points against New Zealand at the Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland. Oh, and look at this. Away goes Ben Youngs. He's enjoying himself, isn't he? Ben Youngs, who scored a couple of tries on the occasion of his 100th appearance, matches the achievement here on his 110th.
And you think everything's going right here, no problem at all, until Youngs somehow wrestles that ball. Milano somehow gifts a try, his second try. So Ben Youngs will have a look at it clearly here. 1, 2, 3, let's see. Yeah, it's a good rip, it's good steal. I think number 8 will look forward to that. The video replays, Youngs will. He may have lost the yard of pace over the years, but 110 caps today.
That's the Tiger pickpocketing the Worcester Warrior.
And it was the Harlequin there. Marcus Smith's on the field right in the middle of the huddle. That's what he does, he takes command straight away. That's what you want from a 10. He's had a pretty good game. Not his natural position, 10, George Furbank, but he can do a job.
Yeah, George Furbank, I don't think necessarily had the easiest start to Test rugby at fullback. And I think he's got every reason to be proud of himself today. A makeshift 10 for the day, and he's done a decent job. Henry Slade no longer a regular place kicker today, and or these days. And in all honesty, he's not looked at home off the kicking tee through the opening 52.5 minutes here. But Marcus Smith is on. Points to 3.
Balls in the front.
Looking over the calendar year,
Okay.
Tonga have conceded an average of 60 points in each of their test matches that they have played. 2 of those defeats by their Pacific Island rival Samoa.
And this is a very, very good catch and drive from England.
Johnny May. Oh, and it was almost stolen by Pakalua. Smith. On to Slade. Here's Freddie Stewart.
Stay.
Sinclair with a quick hand to Gench.
Backwards.
Referee just confirming the ball went backwards there, but then it's the penalty to Tonga.
Penalty holding on. Going back to that catch from Mario Tojic, it was very, very good because he hadn't pushed the ball back in the mould right to the end of the guy at the end, because if he had done that and they'd gone forward and connected, it would be truck and trailer. So actually keeping it at the front, he can then barge into a Tongan person, then put the ball back. It's a good combination. It just drags people on. 2 props working in tandem.
Even the props these days have got to have an all-court game. That fella certainly has, Carl Sinclair. Tonga preparing to make a couple of alterations. One in the hooker, another in the back row. Looks like Sua Maile is preparing to come on. Here's Ungo'omo, whose number will be called shortly, I reckon. Chimney is the target in the line-out. Now can they make it happen here? They've still got it at Tonga. England have disrupted sufficiently though. There's Takalua, look at them standing off, Tameafuna. And the referee blows the whistle, and the scrummage is England's.
Ball isn't available, red scrum. Sorry, Dex.
Saying the ball wasn't available.
Number two, Sam.
Fresh legs are needed.
So there is the alteration at hooker. Mahile comes on for Ngawamo. And the other change is Viliame Fine, earning just his second cap. He is coming on the right wing.
Good last picture, lads.
Clean us out, boy. Clean us out, let's go. Seconds. Come on, six.
Crouch.
Corby Laws playing for England for the 88th time today. There is confirmation of those alterations made by Grant Dury. Excellent England scrum.
This excellent England play is a very good scrum, but again, the call was up. Drive, get a penalty, get out, exit well, get up to the 10-metre line if you can. It's a bit of a narrower angle. Genge will be happy. Struggling a little bit now. Tonga in the tight. And maybe two of the best sort of scrummaging props in France, but they're probably not the fittest. French top 14 is played in bursts rather than the full 80 minutes. This is obviously international, so goes up another level as well.
And I know they've made one or two alterations now, Tonga, but 10 of their starting 15 older than 30. Carry there from Dombran. Back from Youngs. Here's Marcus Smith. Ianu. That's Fine alongside him. Fine wearing that white protective headgear. And Johnny May, well, he took that rather like a fielder in the deep. Long pass out there from Ianu, and that was an awkward one for Carter to grab. Had to take it, not quite on the half volley. It was more a good length to continue the cricketing metaphor.
Tom Curry there, he just had one digit on that ball. Here they go.
Smith, Stewart, Slade, space for May. May against Vianu. The inside ball, and in the end it is just touched down by Kafatolu.
Tonga will be dropping out from underneath their posts. That's the new rules now. It's taken over.
Okay, I've seen it hit white in goal, but I'm not sure who took it into a goal.
I think the player might get in touch, but we need to just check that first.
Okay, but we're going to check the ground in.
Okay. I think they're checking a couple of things here. One is the grounding, the other one is who actually took it over the try line.
Okay, so Craig, you're checking the defensive grounding, but we're checking touch first.
Please.
So basically, if
also
it's an English forward or put back, doesn't really matter. There's Johnny May going for the line. He knows he's not going to get there. So he pops that ball back inside.
Yeah, Craig plays in touch first. His heel is on the line.
Yeah, he's in touch.
Okay,
time is still off. Time is still off, lads. Time's off.
It doesn't matter, so it's a Tongan defensive throw.
Number 12.
Well, here's a landmark appearance off the bench, included in the 23. Just 90 minutes before kick-off, Mark Atkinson, in his 30s, makes his England debut, and the significance in terms of the reign of Eddie Jones is actually the 100th player that Eddie Jones has used since he took charge of England. Well, one or two pieces in the papers this week in the UK about this, expecting that to be Alex Mitchell, but the COVID positive involving the captain, Owen Farrell, opened up the opportunity for Mark Atkinson to come into the 23, and he does become Eddie Jones' player number 100. Takalua, good clearance from the scrum half.
Yeah, Mark Atkinson, he's a class player. He normally plies his trade at 12. Again, it's that sort of secondary team. He has played, obviously, a lot at 10. He just wants to get his hands on the ball. He's got a cap.
There he is, playing first receiver. Tom Curry was played off the ball by Kapatulu. Second time Kapatulu's done that. Johnny May just trying to find a way through, but he's dragged back by Marath. Here's Atkinson, the dummy. That was well read by Carter, but we'll come back to the penalty.
Number 7 tackling the man with the ball.
Second one too.
Fataloa tackling the man. I think it's the second time he's done it, tackling the man without the ball.
Tackling the man with the ball.
Marcus Smith will pump this either right, pump it left. Probably going to the bottom left-hand corner. Nice little break. Calm the nerves from Atkinson.
It's been quite a long route round the highways and byways of English rugby for Mark Atkinson. Was at Sale. Spent a bit of time at Wasps. Moved on to Bedford. And really has made his name since the move to Gloucester. So Jamie George finds Exeter's Johnny Hill. There's Tom Curry, the inside ball, and Johnny May held up a metre out, but the telescopic arm gets there. And Johnny May looks like he's got his second of the match, and what will be the 35th of his England career.
Substitute Fuga nearly brings him down, but again it's a lovely simple inside ball. It's a well-worked move. Young's acting as the 10, Curry acting as the 9, back inside to May. Again, blistering pace. Fuga does pretty well, but not quite. He's grounded that ball. May gets his second, and that's a sight you don't want to see. Zualangi celebrates. One-way traffic.
Well, he's got the instinct of a goal scorer, hasn't he? The Jimmy Greaves of rugby, Johnny May.
Last quarter, 20 minutes. England really can ratchet this up now. Captain's done a great job. That try-scoring tackle will live in the memory of a lot of Twickenham. Marcus Smith gets a very easy 2 points. I don't think he's going to overthrow his hand and get caught with it, caught in possession, but you never know. He's a will-o'-the-wisp. Got a great rugby brain on him, and he's got plenty of ammunition to fire.
Well, Charlie Ewell's at Bath is on in place of the captain for the day.
Okay, it's a maul. Keep your bind. Advantage, taking the leg, 18 white.
And that's impressive from England, and you really do get a sense now that the Tongans are starting to tire.
Okay, you got it. White lifting the leg, and you got side entry on the blind side.
You heard that from the referee. You can't lift the leg, that's dangerous. Side entrance, because obviously they're just trying to stop England literally march up the field. And that's what happens, you get straight back into the 22. There'll be a move called again, and we're going to have a funny one off the line out. I think the backs are getting a little bit frustrated, they want the ball. A mix and match from Youngs and Curry.
There's Onahonga Havili, who was playing last week for Aurillac in the second division in France, and he replaces Kapatulu.
Time on, in a second, please.
Tongans do have an entirely new front row now. There's Smith. Oh, Curry just bursting through. The arm was up from Dombrandt. And then the pass maybe was just fired a little bit too quickly.
Release, Red, release.
Didn't need to pass the ball. He wanted someone else to score, but if he was in a Harlequin shirt, he would have scored it. He'd have gone himself.
A moment for cool heads where Tonga are concerned. Oh, Marath is charged down. Oh, I say. And in the end, Fide may just have saved the day, but only just.
We'll work this one out.
Yes, we're going to double check this, yes.
With Craig Evans.
Yeah, so I've got taken back by White. Scrum, charge down. They didn't leave a goal. So the scrum on the 5.
Take them back, yeah.
So it's going to be a 5-metre scrum, England ball.
Take them back, so you got a scrum.
Tom Curry's England captain now. He's the joint captain. Again, it was a quick little funny one. Marcus Smith and Don Brandt. Sorry, that's the break from Curry.
Good work, Andrea. Good work, lads.
Again, he wasn't trying to be selfish, but all he needed to do with his weight and strength is just go between those two tacklers. He's looking to pop the ball to Genge, and unfortunately it hasn't gone to plan. But England are still there. They're still got a 5-metre scrum.
If anything, I think Don Brandt was being a little bit too altruistic.
Wait for the calls. Stable.
Tom Curry, who's really been talked up during the week by Eddie Jones, all sorts of comparisons. Ardi Sarvia even reckons the England coach that he's got a bit of the Richie McCaw about him in the way he's developed his game from essentially a defensive back row forward. Smith, here's May again popping up all over the pitch. It's Ngana who stops him. But how much longer can Tonga hold up? And there goes Charlie Ewels. Ewels hanging there about, what, 2 feet above the try line for a moment before he was sent back. And this Tonga defence may well be creaking just a little bit, but a minor victory there.
Lovely hands out the back door from Atkinson. That's just lovely, bringing the man on. Johnny May couldn't get the pass away. He has now to take contact, present the ball. He's trying to wriggle his way through. It ain't going to happen.
One, I need your elbow up. You can't hinge. Collapse.
England still knocking at that door.
Elbow up, no collapse.
Well, it's nice to see Twickenham full, isn't it? It was a great buzz. The anthem was sung full belt. It's nice to hear.
Bind. Early. Blue side early.
Free kick going against Noni Uhila.
Look, come in. Listen up, boys.
This guy don't want to stand with me.
I pulled you into the conversation, okay? I spoke to you before the game about keeping the gap and not going early. If you lose that back foot and you come in, it's a free kick. Hold your weight.
He's quite a character, isn't he, Noni Uhila? They call him the Tongan Bear.
I know.
Former professional boxer.
I saw him last week. He was, he did pretty well. Again, they just literally got off a plane and had 3 or 4 days training time, so it wasn't great. Marath got an injury up there, but he's done well to do what he's done. 64 minutes.
Time on.
So James Paiva is on at fly half. Yes, when Uhila breaks into a canter, he's quite an item to try and stop.
Yeah, well, he's just going to stop the England front row at the moment.
Crouch.
Because there is something planned.
Bind. Set. Hold it. Hold.
Well, that time the Tongan scrum being penalised.
Front row. England,
he wants another chat with the front row.
18. Hooker. I'm a hooker. Hooker. Boys.
Let's listen in, shall we?
We've made the changes and now I've got a problem. I'm not going to continue this problem. You need to change behaviour. You getting up to the deck and shouting at me is not on. The scrum collapsed on the opposite side because you went under and you hinged it. That's 2 penalties against you, 1 free kick. It's got to change.
Well, Mafu Fia, the replacement tight head, will have no problems recognising the Welsh accent. He made more than 50 appearances for Ospreys. there we go. I thought they looked a little bit like boxing boots. I mean, those look as if they belong perhaps more on the feet of George Foreman.
Well, Halloween was last week, wasn't it? Guy Fawkes, did he wear that type of footwork? Well, you need to just dig his studs in and hold it straight. That's all he's got to do with them boots. Because I think the ref is, he's had a chat with him twice now on 2 scrums. He's not going to put up with it.
So Young's with a put-in. Similar story. Scooped up by Dombrandt. Here's Atkinson. He takes on Tomopio. Well, this time it's England who are penalised.
Ceiling. Off feet.
Off the feet, yeah, that's good. You've got to say it's good from Tonga. They're with, well, I think the old heads in the scrum have bought him a penalty or 2 there, because again the referee was on the case. He allowed that one to go ahead. It wasn't good ball for England, hence he didn't control it well, but he got a bit more meat coming on, and it's nice to see Mitchell get his just rewards debutant at 9.
So Alex Mitchell becomes Eddie Jones player number 101, the Northampton Saint. Joe Marler, I was going to say back wearing white, but of course they're not wearing white today, England. Joe Marler, his first appearance since the final of the Autumn Nations Cup here against France. And almost a year ago. Here's Vellano.
No, it's there, lads. Quiet.
Driven forward by Maile, earning his 8th cap for Tonga today. Kakalua. It was Faiba. Here he is, the Tongan bear. Kakalua. Little inside ball. No way through that time for Carter. Here's Adam Radway. It's been a bit quiet actually since he scored that try. Hasn't had too many opportunities. Stewart. Here goes Atkinson.
Advantage. I'm at penalty at the moment. Let me know if there's anything more bad, please.
Well, that was Uhila. I think that was an illegal tackle. That might be something that the television match official wants to have another look at. Here's Radwan. Radwan running out of space. He's looking for somebody to run inside and change the direction of attack.
Okay, we've got a high tackle advantage on the no arms.
Oh, and then the ball is lost forward, but we are going to come back to the penalty, and I suspect the Tongan bear may be in a bit of bother here.
Well, it's a no arms. You've got to wrap your arms with it. Try go in like a torpedo in a sense. You are going to seriously hurt yourself as well as the opposition.
For no arms tackle for me. No, against them. Okay. And there's another penalty here for a high tackle. So you've got choice of location.
That's just all.
Yeah. Is that penalty at the 10?
I wanted to look at a couple of things. So one's the no arms tackle and one's the head high tackle down this side. Happy faces.
Craig, check. I'd like to show you something else, please.
Okay, time off.
Ben Whitehouse has been in the ear of the referee. There's something else they want to take a look at.
No arms tackle at white 17. And then we had the high tackle on the far corner as well. So I'm by the screen now. You said you got something else you'd like to show me.
Okay, Craig. We're just trying to get the angles here to put up on the screen, mate. Okay. I want you to see the actions of 23 White.
Okay.
When they're both
Viliami Fina.
Okay.
The replacement, there he is. Why he's taking a close look at the screen.
Angle for you. The director's trying to get the best angle for you on the screen.
No problem.
Here it is now. So here's the initial high tackle. It's after this.
Well, it's the high swinging arm from Finet.
Just keep watching there, Craig. On the floor now, watch his actions once it's completed on the floor, right here.
Oh, I say.
He's off.
Okay,
Marcus Smith it was, feeling the force there.
Just watch this one angle now. Obviously, we've got a high tackle first of all against 23.
Well, that's a straight red.
But it's one bit of foul play compounded by another.
The elbow into the face of England player on the ground.
It's a straight red because
we'll just check if it's an elbow, if it's an upper arm. 2 seconds. Yeah, it's an elbow straight into the face of 23.
He knows exactly what he's doing. Sorry.
Nothing else other than a red card here.
Correct, mate.
Okay, and the penalty's going to be on the. Penalty be on the 5. No, sorry.
Well, you have to say, so often it's been the Achilles heel of Tongan rugby.
Penalty on the 15, correct? Okay.
Almost needless acts of foul play.
And 23.
Let's listen in.
Okay.
As Tonga are going to be down to 14.
Initially got a high tackle against you, playing advantage. When the player's on the floor, you took it upon yourself to put the elbow into the face. It doesn't matter what it was, straight into the face. I can know what the option than a red card. On the 15.
It's just frustrating for a coach because he knows inwardly he's boiling. Because again, they will have talked about this. You just simply can't do it anymore.
Elbow to the face.
He's just made a hard job even harder.
I was playing 2 penalty packages. One for no arms, there for a high tackle, and the player did this. Elbow.
So there you go, down to 14 for the last 12, 11 minutes. This will go in the corner. Scotland, got 60-odd points? It's just silly. I mean, it's stupid.
Number 6 and number 9.
There's nothing more about, bravery or how hard I am, whatever. It's being brave is getting up off the floor and making a tackle, and then getting up off the floor again and making another tackle. That's just handicapped your side badly now.
So more alterations being made by Grant Dury. Takalua is off. So to Timani. Funaki is on. Well, Jamie George has it. He's got 1 or 2 teammates and 80-odd thousand here at Twickenham, driving him towards the try line. It's a penalty advantage to England.
Go on, Mitchell, go. Go on, lad. Go on, lad. Ugh.
Number 17 and number 19 entry. Change your mind.
Well, I think Jamie George will get another crack at this in a couple of moments' time.
Yeah, well, England have shown they can catch and drive, isn't it? I mean, I suppose is it about getting more points or just trying to, sizzle in the backs? Slade had won a ball, I'm sure. Atkinson is starting well. Smith would love to do something dazzling, but again, this is what will be talked about. This is the strategy. You get in those positions, you get it to the back, and you drive it over.
And it's the 2 Saracens. There's Jamie George. He's got Mado Itoje in front of him, and Jamie George has got another. The floodgates are well and truly open.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. George at the back. It's easy. Again, it is a skill. It's just knowing when to actually dart. You want to go too quick. There's people on the floor. Well, he's done that a few times. There you go. 2 tries. Saracen and a Harlequin loving each other.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Well, when Eddie Jones left Jamie George out of the initial England squad for this Autumn Nation series, it was intended for Jamie George to go away and rediscover the hunger. I think you'd have to say it's been a fairly effective management strategy. Marcus Smith adds the 2 points.
And whether it was the hunger, I just think it's a lot of... He's played a lot of games, Lions and whatever, and with COVID and how that affected people. But he is a class act. Not only scoring tries that way, he gets around the field, he jackals but his darts, his arrows are one of the best. I think that's what you need. That's what you're judged on more than anything as a hooker. That relationship, symbiotic relationship with Toji is crucial. He calls all the shots, so you know they know each other when to throw or where to throw and when to throw it. Very important.
Well, Jamie Blamire is on, having replaced Jamie George. Carried forward there by Dombrand. England within touching distance of a half century. They've got a one-man advantage, and they've got 8 minutes, and they've got Henry Slade inside to Marcus Smith. And the Harlequin takes England beyond 50.
Henry Slade take a bow. This place has absolutely erupted. They've obviously seen something that this lad has done in his Harlequin shirt, and he's just scored a try for England. Slade does well. He just holds, shows and goes, holds again. No one outruns him. He's got Smith outside, and that's the best way to calm any fears whatsoever. Get someone else to do the work, and you just run it in from 30 metres. Good on you, fella.
More thorough tests await this England side. But for the likes of Henry Slade, who has been criticised, who hasn't perhaps been in his best form in 2021, who knows? Maybe today has flicked a switch.
Who knows? Only Eddie Jones knows, because it's Eddie's way, and that's it. We know that. I've stopped second guessing him many years ago. But that's brilliant. Well, Slade is just a consummate professional. He can play in 12, 13. He's on his back. He can play there at 10. He can be the second receiver. But what he has got is that vision and that pace. If you've got pace like that, and then you've got even better pace outside, whatever, you are going to scare defences, scare sides. And I hope it's bold. I hope Marcus Smith starts against Australia. I really do. See him start. Know the pressure for all week that you are going to start on Saturday. You can control this back line, but who knows? Who knows?
The rain is also falling in the southwest corner of the English capital. Mitchell fed it out there to Slade. Here's Marcus Smith, Atkinson. Atkinson was wise to keep his hands on that. Curry, oh, that was neat. Itoje, Slade. Good hands from Dombrand. Johnny May just finding himself in a little bit of a cul-de-sac. Freddie Stewart, Radway. Chance to take on Hingano. Straight round him. The inside ball. Oh, and it's picked up by Curry. And now it's Mitchell. Jones cap number 101 has got the score, but there will be a check here.
I think they're just going to check whether he was offside.
21 was offside.
Listen in.
Was offside when the kick was put in initially. If you just put that up, please.
Yeah, Craig, I can confirm he was offside, and I'll just put it up on screen to show you now.
Just for the mark, that's all.
Yeah, look, exactly, mate. We're just trying to find it.
Well, Ben Whitehouse has already made his decision, but he is going to show it on the screen, and you can see there Radwan kicks, and Mitchell is, what, 4 or 5 metres offside.
Offside. 21 red offside. Twenty-one was offside ahead of the kick. Good. Offside. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, it's a lesson learned if he needed to be taught it, the young scrum half. Good kick there from Favour. Freddie Stewart as he did through his opening 2 Test matches in July against the United States and Canada. Stewart has done absolutely nothing wrong. Well, must have been a difficult decision here, looking for our player of the match, and that will be timely for Henry Slade, who's really made his impact, made his presence felt. The ball lost forward there by Abili.
There's a little bit, you can't see it on your pictures, there's a little bit of drizzle coming down now, so that'll add to the woes of Tonga even more going forward, but unfortunately just dropping that ball forward. Yeah, you can just see it. Pretty good crowd, 81,000 or so, nearly full for the first time in, oh goodness me, whenever. They've enjoyed it. Henry Slade's been given man of the match. They appreciate that, I appreciate that. He's a quality player. And there you go.
Set, hold it, hold. Keep it.
Shows a few bonfires going on tonight.
Use it.
Hinder people.
England under Eddie Jones have been close to unbeatable here at Twickenham, as Adam Radwan tries to find a gap. It's win number 31 at the headquarters of English Rugby since Eddie Jones took charge. Just 3 defeats. They did have a draw. That was against the Scots. One of those 3 defeats was against the Scots. There's May. The last 3 minutes of the match. Stewart. That's the halfway line. Smith. There's the player of the match. Radwan. Great step. Here comes the acceleration. Brushes off Termopia. He's still going. On to Curry. Stewart. England looking to get to 60. Smith. And he releases Blamire. What a start to his Test career Jamie Blamire is having. He scored a try with virtually his first touch on debut here against the United States in July. He then scored a hat-trick the following week against Canada, and he's rounded things off here for England against Tonga.
Again, a little bit of show and go from that lad, Marcus Smith, but it's just too many gaps, too much space, straight through the middle. The direct route sometimes is the best, and just queuing up on the outside, you see a gap, show and go. Big Newcastle look at, there you go, nice and easy. England up to 10 tries.
$62 points to 3. Well, it's worth noting that Jamie Blamire isn't even the first choice English hooker at Newcastle. George McGuigan is the regular starter there. But Jamie Blamire has taken to Test rugby so well. Young lad from Workington in Cumbria, right up there in the northwest of England. There's Stewart. Almost certainly the last phase of the match. Curry. Smith. Radwan. Oh, what a step. Look at the pace. Radwan cuts inside. Oh, there was nobody there to take it. Maybe Mitchell will get his chance now. Mitchell scores. It has been a rout.
And he's not going to have that one scribbled out. So you can thank the Newcastle Flyer for that. Alex Mitchell does get his try on debut. Radwan up that side, little pass from Smith. Gee whiz. Just absolute wheels. And he just hears a call inside, doesn't go to hand. Comes off a Tongan player onto Mitchell, and really he could aquaplane that ball over, but he's got such dazzling feet skills He doesn't, jumps on it, and as I said, try on debut. Happy days. Everyone's smiling. 11 tries. Bring on the Wallabies. Bring on the world champs.
Marcus Smith applies the final touch. And 80 minutes which has been bookended by little bits of brilliance from Adam Rugby. A lot to please Eddie Jones between times. And Tonga continue their losing sequence. And once again, they have conceded more than 60 points. Final score at Twickenham. England 69, Tonga 3. Well, Dowie, from an England perspective, what do you take away from today?
Like I said, we've set it up, haven't they? They've got Aussie next week and South Africa the week after. But again, it was a good hit out with all the disruption that happened with Farrell and the pressure on Marcus Smith, pressure on Eddie Jones. But these are the things you've got to deal with as professional sportsmen. England are a good setup. That boy, man of the match. He could play anywhere in the back line in those crucial areas, 13, 12 or 10. So he just shows how flexible and how important he is. Marcus Smith, like I said, I hope he starts. Tom Curry was, again, very, very good at what he does. I think his best position is still on the open side. Put Don Brandt there, but you can't second guess Eddie Jones. He will do what he wants to do. Again, he's carried beautifully well. Again, Tonga, they're proud, but again, you just bring these people just for a week and a half to try and get them together. It just doesn't work now in the professional era. But they were proud, they were brave, but they weren't good enough in the end.
Joe Marler making his return to Test rugby after almost a year away. Charlie Ewels coming off the bench and making a contribution of his own. Mark Atkinson, who became Eddie Jones' 100th England international since he took the job. So let's go down the pitch side and catch up with Sonia McLaughlin, who is speaking to the player of the match.
Well, Henry Slade, how much fun is it playing in an England team like that when you go out with that kind of ambition?
Yeah, it's awesome. We've been building it for a little while now. We've been trying to sort of reinvigorate ourselves and bring a new life to our attack, and I think you saw a bit of that today. Awesome to have a full house here. I can't say how much it means to the boys. I mean, it gives you an extra leg. To have everyone back and see the place rocking, it was unreal.
Eddie Jones has admitted that England's attack got a little conservative. How much work is going into that area of your game?
A lot. I think we'll work on it every day, on the training pitch, in the hotel, with the conversations we're having, and obviously we don't play with each other every week, so it's about building our relationships, building our connections on and off the field, and I think we're doing that well.
Eddie Jones is looking to rejuvenate this squad. We've seen Freddie Stewart come through, Adam Radwan, Marcus Smith got game time today. What sort of impact are they having on the environment?
Yeah, really positive one. We've got a good mixture of boys who've been here for a while and boys who've sort of started out their international careers. So we've got a good mix of youth and experience, and they're bringing some energy and reinvigorating us as a squad. And I think we've just got a good balance at the minute.
Well done, Henry. You are the player of the match. And,
thanks very much.
Congratulations for such a positive start to your autumn.
Thanks very much. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Cheers.
So 11 tries for England. What a stunning performance. Courtney Laws thrust into the role of captain after the positive COVID test for the squad captain Owen Farrell yesterday. He'll be delighted with his contribution. And it smiles all round with England. I guess the issue is looking forward, is fly half. I know we've talked about Marcus Smith starting, but perhaps Eddie Jones may have to go, do you think, beyond the squad to come in? Because clearly we don't know at the moment where England go with Owen Farrell.
We don't. You know, if we knew that, probably George Ford from Leicester would have come down Friday last night before they played Bath. Who knows? you can advise Eddie, you could, from afar that is, you could probably try and get your thinking cap out to see or second guessing, but I don't know. I mean, Furbank did a good job, but he's not a natural 10. Marcus, the only way you're going to know about whether Marcus Smith has got it, put him in. You know, if you've got Slade and Tuolangi looks back to his really fit best. He's your get out of jail card at inside centre. If things are going wrong, you just pop the ball to him and he'll make you yards. He'll get you go forward. That's what it's all about. Marcus Smith is the man for me personally.
Well, you may not have seen that, but Courtney Lawes just being congratulated by a former Saints and a former England captain, Dylan Hartley, who's doing some media work today. And Courtney Lawes is off on something of a lap of honour. Perhaps nobody's told him that he does have a responsibility as captain now to speak to us, but I'm sure he'll be back in a couple of moments' time. But I think we're going to speak in a couple of moments to Tani Takalua, the Tonga captain, who will have seen a couple of old mates from Newcastle impressed today, Adam Radwan, and then that try from Jamie Blamire. So let's go down now. Sonia, who's speaking to the Tonga captain.
You knew it was going to be a very big challenge today for you here at Twickenham. What do you make of the way that Tonga responded to it?
First of all, rocked off a time for Malo Tamaivani and getting us around here on this beautiful evening and a good atmosphere. We know this first two games last week and here in England, Twickenham, it's going to be tough. But we came here to fight. We did our best, and I'm really proud of the team.
England played at a really high tempo. So did Scotland last weekend. Is that just something you're struggling to live with, the pace of this game?
It's hard to get a team together. We're all over the place in Europe. To come in and do a fitness, all we got to do is just come in and try to learn everything at once. And I think that's what is lacking for us. It's our fitness. So, but like I said, we fight hard. And but credit to England for to come in and play the game on speed.
Did you at least think you were going to get on the scoreboard when that phenomenal break from Talusa Vianu?
Yeah, we thought it was going to go all the way there, but good effort for England for chasing it down, and we didn't give up easy, so we'll just keep fighting to the end.
What does a nation like Tonga get from playing at Twickenham against a Tier 1 nation?
Well, it's huge for everyone. I think there's only one player in our team that played here before, so myself and the rest of the boys, this is huge. Good experience, and the atmosphere, it's awesome.
Hard lines today, but thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
I think that was an important point that Tani Takalua made there, Dowie, about the fact that the players are just coming from various parts of Europe. They gathered here. They'll have met in London earlier on this week. Then they had maybe 2-3 meaningful training sessions. It's tough, isn't it?
It's incredibly tough because, you know, per capita, I think they give more to World Rugby than anyone. But that's individuals, whether they go to France, whatever. You know, they are such sought-after commodities. But you can't put them all together. You can't put them all together in a week and a half to play this quality of side. Scotland one week and then you've got England the next. It's gone. The amateur days back in the day, it's gone. You know, these days now are all about professional, all about preparation, and they simply can't do it.
Well, Courtney Lawes is back from his trip around Twickenham, and he's now with Sonia McLaughlin. We'll hear from him in a couple of moments. It has been at the end of of course he's still in the midst of a test career, but 12 years into a test career, Courtney Lawes, because of the unfortunate circumstances involving Owen Farrell, becomes the England captain, and he marked it with a tremendous try-saving tackle on Talusa Vianu. Let's hear from him now.
Well, big smile from Courtney Lawes, because there's quite the crowd staying here to enjoy this moment, to savour it. Yeah. How pleased with the manner of that victory?
Yeah, obviously a little bit to work on, but it's great to be back here with all the fans. It really is. The atmosphere was unbelievable. Obviously, managed to get a few points at the end of the game there, and hopefully, bring a bit of entertainment.
See how much the crowd appreciate it. When did Eddie Jones tell you were going to be captaining England?
So yesterday, when all the stuff was going on, we just made the call there, and then I kind of knew if Baz couldn't play, that I'll probably be the first choice. So I was relatively prepared for it. So yeah, just slotted in and did what I could.
How proud a moment was it to lead England out here at Twickenham in front of 80,000 people? Yeah,
it's obviously amazing. Like I didn't know if I'd get this opportunity, but really proud to have the opportunity to lead especially this group of boys out and to put a performance on like that.
Now there were lots of tries here, but I think almost the moment of the match was that tackle. Tell me what was going through your mind about when you set off at rapid pace.
I don't really. I knew Freddie had pretty good wheels, so I did think he'd get there. So I was like, I've got to get back, see if I can help it, affect the tackle kind of thing. And yeah, look, Freddie made it really. I just finished off.
You did. It was a stunning bit of defensive work. Just finally, this is laying down a marker. England have played very well today, but there's a much tougher test to come. Australia next. Do you believe you can go toe-to-toe with the rejuvenated Wallabies, and if not, beat them?
I think it's going to be a great game next week, but yeah, of course I believe we can go toe-to-toe with anyone really. Like I said, a little bit to learn here, a few things to fix up, and hopefully you'll see a better England next week.
Many congratulations to you, Courtney.
Thank
well
you
done.
very much. Cheers.